As we mentioned earlier, many on the Hill are raising questions about that incident and the political motivations that may underlie the DOJ's charges against Democratic Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. Trump's former lawyer, Alina Habba, is now New Jersey's interim U.S. attorney, the chief federal law enforcement officer in the state. Politico points out that from the moment that Habba was sworn in, she made it clear that she would use her office as a political weapon. And now it seems she is following through. Here to discuss all of this is Democratic strategist Joel Payne. He was also a senior aide for Hillary for America and press secretary for former Senator Harry Reid. Also with us is Tim Miller, host of the Bulwark podcast and the former communications director for Republican Jeb Bush. Joel, let's start with you. What's your reaction to the DOJ going after a sitting member of Congress in this fashion?
I mean, it seems pretty clear it's an overreach. It's also a pretty naked attempt to chill dissent, particularly among folks like lawmakers, right? You had Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, who's, the charges were dropped today, but he was initially, they initially tried to intimidate him. They've tried to go after judges. They are trying to chill, people in the system from pushing back on them. But, Melissa, the broader thing that I see here is I think that this is a big attempt to kind of distract the public from a cratering Donald Trump presidency. I mean, this is happening at the same time as he's failing in resolving what's going on in Ukraine with Russia and Ukraine. The economy is continuing to flail. He is continuing to struggle to do anything with this reconciliation bill. So when you don't have any good ideas and you don't have anything actually to run on, any good communications person know you should just try to change the subject. And that's what these folks are doing. And I would say anytime you see Donald Trump trying to do something to try to draw attention away from all the bad news, keep your eyes open.
So, Tim, I want to push on this distraction theory because there are a lot of things that could distract the public. The DOJ recently said that they are opening an investigation into the city of Chicago after its mayor highlighted diversity in the city's administration. Here's how Mayor Johnson of Chicago responded to that investigation today.
The city of Chicago has suffered from a great deal of pain because of the political and the racial dividing lines that have existed in this city for a long time. I'm going to break those lines. Any group that has been marginalized, that have suffered under tyranny and oppression, we're going to show up for them. We're not going to be intimidated by the tyranny that's coming from the federal government. The diversity of our city is our strength.
Tim, Chicago is not the only city that is defiant, and it's also not the only big city that is being targeted. We found out tonight that New York City mayoral candidate and former New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo is also under DOJ investigation. What do you think about that? Why is the DOJ focusing so much on local politics?
Yeah, I diagnose this a little differently. I think there are two things happening here. One is that there are people in the DOJ that have gone around the bend, and they're so deep into the fever swamps that they want to bring the conspiracy theories that they've been marinating in online to life, whether that be about COVID, whether that be about DEI, or whether it be when Ed Martin was, sending letters to Georgetown and sending letters to Robert Garcia, telling him to silence them. I think that there are a lot of mid to high mid-level DOJ staffers who are pretty deep in the sauce and are trying to follow up on their conspiracy theories. I think that the intimidation side of it, though, I agree on that with Joel. Look, they want people to be afraid to do diversity hiring. They want that. That's why they're going after Chicago. I don't think it's a great political strategy. I don't think it's 3D chess or anything. I think it's actually probably a net negative for this administration politically. I think they're doing a huge favor to Mayor Johnson, who's not particularly popular in Chicago and now has a foe that he can rally against that the people of Chicago don't like, which is Donald Trump in this administration. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that their main goal here is not political. Well, it's political in the sense, but not like campaign politics. I think it's intimidation, as Joel said. And I think they don't want people to, be bragging about the diversity hires. They want to make DEI, a scarlet letter. And so they're going to use the power of the government to go after people that are trying to implement it.